שבו שנוכל להתחיל את הערב. ולפני שנתחיל, דניאל?
ערב טוב, קהל נכבד. לאור המצב, במקרה של הזקה, מי שיושב באולם נשאר ישוב. לא לקום, נשאר פשוט ישובים.
אז חברים, ערב טוב מירושלים וברוכים הבאים לניסוי מספר 8 חלק 7 של השדה האחד, כן! שמי מיכל מילגרומור ולצידי ליאת שפר, בן יעקב ורים טל חיימי.
مساء الخير للجميع، مساء الخير ميخال وليات، مساء الخير من أورشليم القدس. مرحبا فيكم في التجربة الثامنة الجزء السابع من الحقل الواحد. أمسية مؤثرة جدا. شكرا شني معالجة صوتية رافقها أشفي شتاينبرغ في الموسيقى الافتتاحية. أهلا وسهلا فيكم.
Good evening from Jerusalem and welcome to Experiment 8, Part 7 of the One Field. How exciting to be here tonight with you. Yes. Thank you, Shani Habari, who's a sound healer, and Oshri Steinberg, who joined her in the opening music. So what awaits us here tonight? Almost all the film participants are here with us tonight, and we'll introduce them in alphabetical order. Trond Aaronson, Dr. Jayant K Bhadury, Gregg Braden, Lee Carroll, Robert Coxon, Peggy Phoenix Dubro, yes. Andres Holte, Professor Konstantin Korotkov, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Krishna Madappa, Dr. Rollin McCarty, Lynne McTaggart, John Reid Stewart, and Dr. Yaron Segal, and Dr. Todd. And we have one question to ask them here tonight, and later this evening we'll hear their answers. In addition, we will hear the result of the 6 experiments we conducted, as well as conduct the last experiment. We will listen to music and singing by Israeli artists. And at the end, we have a surprise for you, so stay tuned. Now let's begin introducing Dr. Mitch Abrams.
He is a Canadian radiologist who founded Next Gen Health. He's a TEDx speaker,
A certified HeartMath trainer, and a certified educator from Stanford University Center of Compassion and Altruism Education. He joined us tonight, live from Toronto, to explain his RADD Rad Art. Please welcome Dr. Mitch.
Hello to everyone around the world. As a physician and as someone who has been through their own healing journey from open heart surgery, there are 2 things I like to share. First, there are many dimensions of the heart. And second, our healthcare system is only scratching the surface of the full scope of healing that is possible. As a certified educator of applied compassion, I am dedicated to creating true systemic change in healthcare through curriculum development and other projects. I want to tell you about one important capstone project I developed through Stanford University called Rad Art, which aims to promote cycles of compassion in our world using the power of our hearts. The same heart power we are using tonight, hearts of thousands of people for this event today. Rad Art captures the energy created during events like this and repackages that energy in a collection of art to raise money through sales, sponsorships, and crowdfunding. Proceeds support mental health and coherence initiatives, as well as research and curriculum development. Rad Art pieces, like the one we will create today, are publicly installed with QR codes linking to an art story that shares details of the event and all those who helped co-create it. Today's Rad Art will be installed in Jerusalem to commemorate this historic event and perpetuate the knowledge we are sharing. As the Rad Art collection grows, we are sharing a new narrative of how we are evolving into a more coherent, a more compassionate global community. So please, let's welcome our talented Rad artist, Sasha Q, who is displaced from her war-torn Ukraine and holds the vision of peace deeply in her heart. She will capture these moments of shared learning and love in her art. Please consider donating to the art. Proceeds will support Coherence research and future events like this one. Visit coherenceart.org to follow this art piece. We'll be checking back in with Sasha periodically and at the end to see how she's progressing.
Thank you.
ונתחיל מיד עם איך אני אומר, החבר'ה השותפים שהיו איתנו כל הניסויים האחרונים. אז קודם כל יש לנו את רוברט קוקסון, כן, כן. דוקטור רולין מקרייטי. שניהם היו מעורבים בניסויים שערכנו בששת החודשים האחרונים. נסענו במדיטציות במטרה אחת. במטרה לעורר את לב האנושות ולבחון האם הקרנת רגש וחמלה ואהבה יעלו את הרטט של השדה הגלובלי.
وعلى أصوات موسيقى روبرت وتحت مراقبة ممثلي معهد هارتميت مارسنا تجربة التأمل بهدف إيقاظ قلب الإنسانية واختبار ما إذا كان تفعيل وبث الشعور بالتعاطف والحب سيرفع اهتزاز الحقل العالمي.
So we will start with the first two, Robert Coxon, a composer, a producer, a pianist, and the music composer of the One Field. And Dr. McCraty is Executive Vice President and Director of Research at HeartMath Institute. Dr. McCraty and Robert Coxon have involved in experiments conducted over the last 6 months. We experimented in meditation with the aim of awakening the heart of humanity and testing whether projecting the emotion of compassion and love would raise the vibration of the global field. We now move on to Dr. McCraty to get the results of the 6 experiments, and later we'll move on to the 7th and last experiment of the series.
This is an experiment that was conducted in conjunction with the One Field community and the HeartMath Institute in a special project called which is called the Global Coherence Initiative. And this is a science-based project to really help bring people together in heart-focused love and intention, with the intention of raising the consciousness level of the planet, the baseline consciousness of the earth, to help move us from the current instability and discord to more compassion, more care, cooperation, and enduring peace in the world. Just a little background here. We all live within a common vibrational field. We measure these in various ways through magnetometers around the earth, around the world. But the point here, just to understand, is that we're all contributing to that field, especially our feelings, but our thoughts and feelings and the vibrations that we can measure are all affecting the global field environment. So when we come together in large numbers, like's happening today and over the past 6 months, get into a state of heart coherence to radiate more love and compassion, that generates a more coherent field environment. And that couples with the larger field of the earth and helps lift and benefit all other living systems on the earth. Now, one of the tools that we've been using throughout the past 6 months and tonight, hopefully, so if you already have the Global Coherence app, I know a lot of you have been using it, that allows us to measure where you are and how coherent you are during the meditation. I would invite you to go ahead and get that out, get logged in, so we're ready for the upcoming meditation experiment we'll be doing in a few minutes. But the Global Coherence app, if you're not familiar with it, it's free. It can be downloaded from either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. But it allows you to measure and reflect back, feedback your own personal level of heart coherence, but also it allows us to measure the collective coherence of the larger community. So wherever you are in the world, it'll show up on the map, the little dot on the map. Those are points of light where we're adding love to the field when you're there doing that. But it also allows us to measure the collective amount of coherence that we've been adding, or that we are adding and have been adding to the global field environment. Now, here's some of the results from the coherence measurement across the last 6 months, which is a meditation event on the 21st of each month. So we're starting back in June. And what you're seeing here is the accumulated coherence that the One Field community has added to the global field environment. This is the coherence points on the left there. So we've added already almost 450,000 coherence points. Now, I know that may not mean a lot to you, but trust me, the love, the compassion that we're adding to the field matters, and it, as we'll see shortly. So the idea here is over time, we're able to measure how coherent we are, how many of us are adding the love and compassion to the field, and correlate that with the changes we can measure in the field environment. So this brings me to the Global Consciousness Project, which is our primary measurement tool for these set of experiments. GCP 2.0, as it's now called, is a new version. This is a a large-scale project, and it's specifically designed to study how our consciousness, human consciousness, in a measurable way can affect the physical world. This is based on random number generators. Here's a picture of one. And what they do is they produce basically random numbers, ones or zeros. Like if you flip a coin 100 times or 1,000 times, on average, you're going to get 50 tails, 50 heads. So random number generators are basically electronic coin flippers. And when an effect happens in the global field, is it interacts with these devices and adds what we call network coherence, which means basically that they start generating ones or zeros at the same time globally, way past what you would normally expect. Now, I want to just show you some results from GCP-1. It measured hundreds of events over 20 years. And this is what I think a really important finding. And that is that events like we're doing today that evoke a lot of love and compassion have the largest effect on creating coherence in the global field environment, significantly more than large sporting events, Super Bowls, World Cups, things like this, a lot of emotion, but not necessarily a lot of love and compassion. And then lower things like the response to terrorist attacks and large earthquakes, these types of things. So we already have evidence, strong evidence actually, over many events that the amount of love and compassion we radiate, we broadcast into the global field really does matter and is measurable. Here's the results from GCP-2 at the start of the conflict. And on the left side of this chart, you see the red line. And if the red line goes outside of the blue line, that means it was a significant event. It impacted the global field in a significant way. It evoked a lot of emotion and a lot of attention around the world. And then you can see a control period on the right. Now, one of our hypotheses in GC.2 is that it doesn't take large numbers of people, like in this case, but that a much smaller group of people who are highly coherent and focused on a shared intention of adding love, compassion, kindness into the planetary field can have as large of an effect than millions of people. So coherence matters is the suggestion here. So here's the results of the last 6 months of the one field community, the composite results. The gray line on top that you see there where it's on 0, it goes around it. This is what we expect to see if nothing's happening. However, that's not the case. The red line is the composite or the analysis of the last 6 months of events. We have a significant effect here. We are, I'm honored to say and happy to say is it worked. We're a fairly large group here today, but over the last 6 months have not been as large as we have today, but in the range of 1,000 people over 6 events, we have significantly shifted the planetary field, okay, in a measurable way. And that's what the red line here is telling us over these past 6 events. So congratulations to the community. We did it. We actually created a significant effect on the global consciousness field. So this is, I think, an awesome result. I can't be happier to be able to share this result with you today. I would like to invite you to get involved in the Global Consciousness Project. We've chosen 20 cities or areas around the world, and Israel is one of those. So far, we have very few there. Would love to invite you to get involved as a citizen scientist and maybe help host one of these devices. So if you want to learn more about that and get involved, please go to gcp2.net and it'll tell you all about it, and you can apply to be a host there. So the next thing we'd like to do is take about the next 10 minutes for a guided heart meditation where we're really going to pulse the field with more love and compassion. So let's join together, everyone there, and with others all around the world by connecting in the heart and breathing feelings of compassion and love through your heart area to set a calm and genuine tone. Just take about 30 seconds here and just breathe love, breathe compassion through the center of the chest to the heart area. Breathe in a little slower, a little deeper than you normally would. And as we continue breathing compassion and love, let's hold a collective intention to energetically support all who are affected by conflict, violence, or war anywhere around the world. Just radiate love and compassion. And as we go deeper into this meditation, let's remember to keep our own vibration up by focusing our personal energies and intentions on the highest best, knowing that this strengthens the effectiveness of our healing intentions and our heart's radiations. So for the next few minutes, let's send our heartfelt care and compassion to all people who are experiencing hardships, oppression, or who fear for their safety or the safety of their loved ones. And as we continue focusing in our hearts, envision our communities, states, and countries experiencing increased peace, harmony, and heart-based connections. And with genuine intent, let's continue radiating compassion and peace to the planetary energetic field, knowing that together we are helping raise the planetary vibration to one that serves humanity. Opening our hearts more and more is the key for us to move forward. We each contribute to awakening the global heart. Now, let's envision more and more people around the world connecting to the heart and radiating care and love into the planetary field. Visualize the stress that many are experiencing easing so that they can sort their next steps with clarity and from their heart's intuitive guidance. And as we continue radiating compassionate heart energy, you can ask your own heart to direct that energy to wherever you would like, whatever your own heart suggests is the most important need of the times at this moment. Could be to a specific area, person, community. And as we begin to close this meditation, I invite you, as you open your eyes and we come back into the event, that you continue as often as you can to remember to breathe through the heart and radiate love and passion, kindness into the field, your local field, to those around you, to the world, knowing that what we feed the field matters. And it really does have effects. And as more of us do this throughout our lives, throughout the day-to-day, as we remember to do it, to focus on the heart, become more conscious, more aware of what we're feeding the field, it can change the world. It just takes enough of us waking up to the power of love. Thank you.
Thank you for this meditation. It's always a pleasure. We love to hear you. Thank you so much.
نحن עכשיו עם رونيت شافي. هي مغنية مبدعة، عازفة بيانو، ملحنة، معلمة ومعالجة بالصوت والأنغام.
Ronit Sheffi is creative singer, pianist, composer, teacher, and sound therapist. She has released 3 albums, some of which are used as the soundtrack to the award-winning American film Femme, Women Healing the World.
Ronit Sheffi, we are one.
We are when all the love is within us. We live our lives seeking for love, when all the love is within us. We are one. 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 כולנו אחד. كلنا واحد.
هل نحن حقا واحد؟ بالأشهر الماضية عشنا كراهية مجنونة، فهل هذا هو מصيرنا كبشر إلى الأبد؟ هل ممكن حقا أن نصحي قلب الإنسانية؟
האם אנחנו באמת יכולים לעורר את לב האנושות? זו השאלה שהתחלנו איתה לפני חצי שנה, ואז המלחמה תפסה אותנו בדיוק באמצע. והשאלה הזו הפכה להיות עוד הרבה יותר רלוונטית ממה שהתכוונו אליה. וזה בדיוק השאלה שאנחנו נפנה כרגע אל לין.
How does this togetherness fit in with this crazy hatred that we have experienced in recent months? And hatred causes more and more hatred. And until when? Is this our destiny forever? And from your experience, as one of the central authorities on the new science of consciousness, who wrote 7 books published in over 30 languages, and have run 41 experiments to date, including lowering violence in war-torn areas. 37 of them showing measurable positive effects. Lynne, what do you say? Can we awaken the heart of humanity?
Thank you for that introduction, and hello, everybody, and particularly those who participated in our experiment years ago, trying to lower violence in Jerusalem. So to answer that question, I have a resounding yes to say. I'm going to share my screen and show you what just happened with an experiment that I ran for Israel and Gaza recently after the October 7 events. We've done 11 peace intention experiments, but the most recent one I want to tell you about is the Israeli-Palestinian peace intention experiments that were run in October and November. I've run 3 so far. We had 30,000 people participating. And one of the most amazing things that happens, and this will answer your question, is an intention mirror effect. The outcome is fascinating, but to me, not as fascinating as the outcome of the participants. What happens to the people themselves who take part? So I survey all of the participants of my peace intention experiments, and I see the same thing over and over again. It's basically, my questionnaire is, how was it for you? And I get back amazing statements like 40% feeling more love for their loved ones. People, more than a quarter getting along with people they normally argue with. Nearly a third more tolerant of people who are not like me. 36 to 40% having some sort of physical improvements or healings. But the big one, 50% more love for everyone they come in contact with. Then After Israel and Gaza, we got, like, this person's boss was suddenly cheerful and happy this week, even though his business is going out of business and he has a load of health problems. People who had bad relationships with their parents, suddenly it was like a new birth. People who were partners saying that they're much closer, people more tolerant and don't react when people are harsh or insulting. People are more loving. We also see healings. A third report physical improvements. In this latest batch of experiments, we had type 1 diabetics saying their blood glucose levels were better controlled. Somebody with deep depression said, I'm seeing major improvements, and so forth. So how can they overcome polarization in an instant? Very simply, meet the vagus nerve, longest nerve in the body. It has a pit stop at every major organ of the body, and it controls our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight nervous system. When that is activated, we go on high alert. But there's another part of it that also is about loving connection. And when people get involved with compassionate intention, as Dacher Keltner from the University of California at Berkeley, and also Barbara Fredrickson, psychologist at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, both shown altruistic intention, doing an intention experiment to focus on healing something allows people to regulate their vagus nerves, which creates much more love and trust in their own lives. And what they found at Berkeley is it also makes people more loving and connected to people not like them. Doing a secular form of prayer, being more loving toward people they hate. And to me, this is a fast track to ending some of the hate and division. And when you think about the ripple effect of love and loving intention and greater tolerance among themselves and everyone they come in contact with, you can understand how we can create a ripple that becomes a tidal wave around the world. So that is my answer on a stick of how we overcome hate and division. Thank you very much.
אנחנו נקבל גם את נקודת המבט של דוקטור רולין מקרייטי, כמי שחוקר כבר עשרות שנים את השפעת הרגשות על ההתנהגות.
Someone who has been studying the influence of emotion on behavior for decades.
دكتور رولين مكريتي كشخص يقوم بالبحث في تأثير المشاعر على سلوك العقود من الزمن.
My answer to that question, that there are really two different hologram. You can think of it as, I think of it as holograms of consciousness going on the planet at the same time. There's the old, what we often refer to as 3D, stuck in our patterns of the past, the histories of the past, and so on. But at the same time, there's a new consciousness has emerged, and is continuing to emerge. From my perspective, the straight line to increasing the vibration of our consciousness, to being able to rise above, to move out of 3D into our next level of awareness and level of consciousness, is connecting with our heart. It's the bridge to our larger self, to our higher self, whatever you want to call it. Love is one of the main things that opens that channel. But love has to be translated down into the real world. We have to care more into our activities, our actions, our levels of kindness, our ability to become more self-aware of and responsible for what we're feeding the field. When I said two levels, there's the energetic level. What we're radiating into the field, not just when we come together on days like this or meditations together. And as Lynne said, when we do it together, it really does have an amplification effect, by the way. But we're always feeding the field. 24/7, we're always co-creating our own reality and the planetary reality. Being more responsible for what we're feeding the field day to day, hour to hour, right? So that matters. That helps lift others. We know that. We've proven that. Are we able to rise above the judgments, the hate that we might have? right? Into our day-to-day activities and helping others, right? That's why at HeartMath, we focus so much on really certifying others to take that work forward to help reach the masses. How do we help others learn to connect with their heart? Hope I'm making sense to you all. So it's really both levels, being responsible for what we feed the field and actually taking love down to the street, being kinder, managing our judgments. And I think that what we see in the world right now, the extreme polarization on so many levels, it is forcing people that maybe aren't as awake yet, aren't as aware, to take a deeper look, to finally move us, to push us to asking the question, there's got to be a better way. I mean, how bad does it have to get before we can choose collectively, globally, to do something different, to take a different approach? Maybe we really have to learn how to get along with each other, to rise above our histories, our judgments, the past behaviors. What's going on, I won't say is a good thing, but it's part of what has to happen for the shift to occur, for the new consciousness that is very alive, very well, and growing and emerging to become the new norm, the new baseline for the planet. So hopefully my message is one of hope, because it is. I'm very optimistic about the future and where we're headed. We do a lot of science to measure this, to prove it, but I can say with great confidence, we are fundamentally interconnected through the various fields that we all live in. And I'm really so hopeful and of events like this, where it's thrilling to me to see so many of you here today that are coming together in the heart to help raise the consciousness of the planet. Because as a collective, as a community, we can really strengthen this new hologram, if you will, this new field of consciousness that's emerging, so that it becomes our new baseline. So thank you so much.
לי קרול, המתקשר של קריון. לי הוזמן לתקשר באומות המאוחדות 7 פעמים.
ومثل لين يظهر بانتظام كواحد من أكثر 100 شخص مؤثر روحانياً في العالم.
Lee has invited the United Nations to channel 7 times. And as Lynn, he is regularly listed as one of the 100 most spiritually influential living people.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lee Carroll. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the continuing efforts of Sippy Raz and her team. Thank you. It's so obvious now that the One Field film that her team created was actually preparing for all the things that would follow that we're seeing. Who knew that the things that were being studied and experimented with might be needed right now for the entire world? Now, that's profound stuff. The original request that we are all given is to find out if consciousness could change anything. Is there a field there? The original quest, I think, of the One Field movie was to see if there is actually a field that connects everything. Another question was, can we use consciousness to influence that one field, our lives, our bodies, or even our environment? But throughout the film, we learned that the answer was yes. There is a field. Not only is there a field, we can influence it with our own consciousness. And there are many leading experts and scientists who are now validating that very thing. That's what an experiment is for. Very timely, don't you think? Since the release of the One Field, Sippy has coordinated many other experiments as well, with the aim and intention of measuring more of the field, human consciousness, the reaction of one on the other or both. Wow. So again, we ask the question, is it possible that our consciousness can change our reality? Here's my answer. Not only is it possible, but Kryon, the loving entity, angelic being who I channel, has been telling us this very thing for 3 decades. I want to review what we know. The biggest thing is this: consciousness is now seen as energy. There is validation after validation that we generate energy in the form of our thinking and our consciousness. The next thing that was validated is that we can actually design the energy or type of consciousness that is the energy that we can send, that affects the field. We all know that the energy of anger and fear can be generated and felt. No question. I think the media is very good at that, personally. How do you feel after watching the news? Do I have to say more? So how about harmony, peacefulness, balance? Can this be sent as well? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the validation for Sippy's experiments and the One Field movie. That's why I'm sitting here. So it's time to use what we've learned. The first thing we tell people, and you've heard this from me before, stop watching the media unless you absolutely have to for your safety. If you read it instead, it won't have the bias of deliberate, fearful intent, which television has. It's programmed for that. Next thing, use your intent to concentrate on peaceful outcome and benevolent solutions for all that is happening around us. Actually visualize people in the affected regions smiling and relaxing a bit at a real end of violence. See them smiling and relaxing at the end of real violence, at the, not just a pause, the end. Then visualize people in the affected regions smiling with the idea that there's hope ahead. Smiling, relaxing, with hope. The best part of this is that light workers and metaphysical people who are in peaceful areas all over the planet can do this very well. They are the ones who are experiencing peace in their countries and their cultures. So they are the ones able to send a pure wave of this hope, better than those could in difficult areas. It sounds too simple, doesn't it? But the One Field movie, the experiments, they've all shown this to be so. And the ongoing experiments even now are proving even more that it's so and that we can really make a difference. The bottom line, or the summary here, visualize this situation being solved with joy and peace being the result. Don't try to figure out how or to visualize a specific solution. Don't even go there. See the future as being filled with peace and hope. Wow, that's powerful. Does it make a difference? According to the experiments, it does. And who can do it? All of us can. Thank you for listening to this. I think there is so much hope here. For all the light workers who are watching this and all the powerful beings that I see in each one of you. Thank you.
Shira Golan here with us, with the violin player Sadrine Sontal, and they will sing Who is the Man?
ستغني لنا باللغتين العربية والعبرية وبمرافقة عازفة الكمان سادرين سونتار. ستغني من هو الرجل.
ומי האיש? מהמילים מספר תהילים, שירה גולן היא זמרת השרה בערבית ובעברית ויצרה את The Middle East Music Project לקירוב לבבות במזרח התיכון. קבלו אותן.
חפץ חיים אוהב ימים לראות טוב מי האיש חפץ חיים נצור לשור ושפתיך מדבר מרמה, סור מרע ועשה טוב, בקש שלום ורודפהו. من هو الإنسان الذي والحياة ويحب كثرة الأيام ليرى خيرا. من هو الإنسان الذي والحياة ويحب كثرة الأيام ليرى خيرا. سن لسانك عن الشر وشفتيك عن التكلم بالغش. حيد عن الشر واصنعي الخير، اطلبي السلام واسعى وراها. נצור לשונך מרע ושפתיך מדבר מרמה, סור מרע ועשה טוב, בקש שלום ורודפהו. סור ליסנך ען الشر وشفتيك عن التكلم بالغش. حيد عن الشر واصنعي الخير، اطلبي السلام واسعى وراها. نצור לשונך מרע ושפתיך מדבר מרמה, סור מרע עשה טוב, בקש שלום ורודפהו. اطلبي سلام واسعى وراها، بکش شلوم תודה, שוקרן. Thank you, אמן, אינשאללה.
מי האיש? מי אנחנו? זו שאלה שגרג בריידן מרבה להציף בספרים שלו, בכנסים שלו.
جريج برايدن هو مؤلف وعالم ورائد في مجال العلاقة بين العلوم والسياسة الاجتماعية والإمكانات البشرية.
Gregg Braden is a 5-time New York Times best-selling author, scientist and pioneer in the emerging paradigm bridging science, social policy, and human potential. His work has led to 15 films credit, 12 books, and a nomination from the prestigious Templeton Prize to honor outstanding individuals who have devoted their talents to expanding our vision of human purpose and ultimate reality. So now it's your turn, Gregg. What is your point of view?
I just want to thank you for my warm introduction. I am so honored to share this virtual stage with so many of my dear friends whom I've known over 30 years, my colleagues, my spiritual brothers and sisters. I was supposed to be live with you in Israel this week. I was supposed to be leading a group. Of course, the situation has changed. So I am live. I'm coming to you from a studio in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I just want to welcome everyone and tell you how much I appreciate your love and support and all that you're doing to make this world the best possible world. I'm an optimist by nature, and I'm also a realist. Realistically, I know that we are in the shift. And if you're in it, the only way out of it is to go through it. We're not talking about changes that are going to happen at some distant point in our future. We're in it now. We've got to find a way to navigate these changes in a way that is healthy and that leads to the world that we know is possible in our hearts. And that's why these experiments, I believe, are so important. What the experiments tell us is that there is a connection. You know, the best science of the modern world has now confirmed that this field exists. It was actually officially confirmed, the fact that the field exists, in the year 2012 at the CERN superconducting supercollider in Geneva, Switzerland. Scientists said, yes, there is a field. This is one of those beautiful places where science and spirituality come together in a perfect way. Because the science tells us that field is there, science can't tell us how to use it. Our ancestors and our deep intuition know that from our hearts, we can influence this field. And I think it's important to understand that the field is essentially a mirror all around us and within us. And that mirror can only reflect into our world what we give it to work with. And this is what my dear friend Rollin has been saying. What are we feeding that field? So it's not that the field, if you watch a physicist give a lecture on the field, they'll say, oh yeah, there's a field out there that connects all things, and their hands are doing this, separating us from the field. We are the field. There are 50 trillion cells in the human body, and every one of those cells has 100 trillion atoms. Those atoms are constantly emerging and collapsing into the field. It's happening right now. And we determine the quality of what those atoms express, the healing or the disease in our body, the peace or the conflict in our world. So what these experiments now are really asking us is simply this. What is our relationship to the field? Because it mirrors what we give it to work with, what is up for each of us is this. We must become in our lives what we choose to experience in the world. Maybe this is the hardest part for all of us. It's not something that we do in a moment of time. It's something that we be, that we live to the best of our ability every day in our lives. We must become in our lives what we choose to experience in our world. This is a deep, deep spiritual workshop because we live in a world of polarity, and that polarity is bringing challenges, as Rollin clarified. We're in it. We're in those challenges now. Here's the homework for all of us. When we look at the events of the world in our lives that challenge us, we may not be able to change the events, but we can determine how we respond. What do we become in the presence of what life brings to our doorstep? When we need to fight, and sometimes we need to fight, do we fight from the love of what we know is possible in our hearts? Do we fight from the love of our families that stand behind us and our loved ones, or do we fight from the hate of those that have challenged us that stand before us? This is the question that's up for all of us. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer, but we know from these experiments that whatever we choose, there are consequences. So ultimately, the question is simply this: do we love ourselves enough to become the best version of ourselves, to feed the field what it is that we want to experience in our world and our lives for ourselves and for our children. Do we love ourselves enough? I don't think we're going to need to wait long for the answer because the events of the world are going to tell us what we've chosen. And I just want to close by thanking everyone for all that you're doing to be the best version of yourself so that together, you and I and our global family, together we create the best world possible. Thank you for making this gathering possible for all of us today.
الدكتور جيانت كومار بهادوري طبيب الإيروفيدا متخصص في اليوغا والتانترا ورئيس منظمة بهاريجو الدولية لليوغا.
דוקטור ג'יאנט קומר בהדורי, מומחה ליוגה וטנטרה ונשיא ארגון היוגה הבינלאומי. דוקטור בהדורי ואחיו אמנט קומר בהדורי ממשיכים את השושלת של היוגה בהריגו שהועברה מסבם לאביהם ולאם.
The knowledge contains the 5 branches of astrology, philosophy, Ayurveda, yoga, and tantra. Dr. Bahaduri, we would love to hear from you.
Okay, thank you very much. I usually don't work with the love. I'm working with the energy system. Love is a very tiny part of that, and I don't work because it is usually affected by the desire and controlled by Mooladhara, perineum. Perineum is the first energy point according to our channels energy system that is in spine, that is the root chakra. Perineum is also representing our earth element, this earth, and our physical body also. Actually, this perineum is the place of that all desire. Our basic, our original tendency, the nature that we are born with. So that is the place of our original tendency, our nature. Love always change. Love always with our mental emotions and mental activity. It is always changing. So it is as what I feel that it is very important to work with Mooladhara or perineum to balance and control the energy level of this earth and this physical body. It also works to control the energy of desire. We always talking about peace. What is peace? When we talking about peace, actually the meaning of the peace is also somewhere it is affected by this place. If our energy is balanced, we are in state of peace, in state of happiness. This happiness works with love. If I will not in peace, I will never be in state of bliss or happiness. And it will never be real love. It will only something that I attach or I attract. If energy is disbalanced, something happened like 7th of October happened. So better to work with Mooladhara and then work with mental level. And after that, work with vital energy. So vital energy will always work with pure mental status. It will free from desires and it will also help to create peace within self, within environment, within society, and within all this world. And then only it is possible to work with all humanity.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
أندرس هولتي مغني وملحن ومتواصل عن طريق الصوت يبتكر مع زوجته كاتشينا موسيقى نغمية.
המוזיקה שלהם היא בשימוש על ידי אנשים ברחבי העולם, והיום לכמה רגעים הם ישתפו אותנו כאן במוזיקה שלהם.
Together with his wife Kachina, he creates unique tonal music, connecting the listener to the divine origin we all share. Their music is being used by people worldwide for deep inner connection and healing. And today, for a few moments, They will share their music with us.
Thank you. The question, can we truly awaken humanity's heart to compassion, love? Katrina and I think, yes, we believe we can very much. Knowing, remembering that our thoughts of compassion and hope and forgiveness matter. Our thoughts matter, and our feelings. In situations like this, when the words seem to fall short, as musicians, we turn to our music, not to try to make sense of it all, but as a way to open our hearts and to find the love and the light again. And so instead of words, Katrina and I, we would like to invite you, like Gregg said, for a moment, to be peace and to be love with us. Ahava. In this, our prayer for peace. So please join us.
And now with us, Dr. Nader Bhuttu, a cardiologist by training, a researcher in his essence, and the person who developed the unifying integrative medicine method. Today, he is an internationally renowned therapist. He conducts research, publishes books, and scientific studies, and certified therapists worldwide in his method. Together with him, we'll have Idan Abramson, known also by his stage name Oslo Green. He is an artist, music producer, and entrepreneur. From his hometown in Tel Aviv, he is initiating projects internationally, from Europe to East Africa. In recent years, he has performed and worked with Nobel Peace Prize winner Professor Muhammad Yunus, the UN campaign, and the Pope. Dr. Nader Bhuttu and Idan Abramson will combine the oud and the violin in Leonard Cohen's song, Hallelujah.
כקרדיולוג גיליתי שיש כפתור בתוך החדר הימיני, אם אנחנו מדליקים אותו, אז פותח את האור כמנחת לאלוהים להיכנס בליבנו, וברגע שאלוהים נכנס בליבנו אנחנו מתחברים מאין סוף, ויכולים לתת אין סוף בחמלה ובאהבה. תהנו. انطفت والسماء والقلب ما رفع الضياء والدمع بات يجري يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا إلهي يا
heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor four, and the major left, the baffled king composing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah,
חלמתי שהגיע יום, זה לא גן עדן ולא חלום, ושוב חיים כאן שניים בהרמוניה. זה כבר אפשר, זה הכרחי, ועוד ניגון חדש ממריא, עלו עלו לשיר הללויה, 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 הללויה,
maybe there's a God above. We better hope and learn from love. For now, all that matters is what we choose. It comes at times when you cry at night, you open up, catch a ray of light. When it's cold and it is broken, hallelujah, hallelujah.
תודה רבה.
ننتقل الآن للدكتور بروس ليبتون. هو محاضر وعالم بيولوجيا الخلية، رائد ومعترف به دولياً في مد الجسور بين العلم والروح. درس في كلية الطب بجامعة ويسكونسن، وأجرى أبحاثاً رائدة في مجال الخلايا الجذعية في جامعة ستانفورد.
מחבר רבי המחר הביולוגיה של האמונה, אפקט ירח דבש, וקיבל את פרס גוי לשלום היוקרתי לשנת 2009 לכבוד תרומתו המדעית להרמוניה עולמית.
Dr. Bruce Lipton, cell biologist and lecturer, is an internationally recognized leader in bridging science and spirit. Bruce taught in the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine. He performed groundbreaking stem cell research at Stanford University. He is the best-selling author of The Biology of Belief and The Honeymoon Effect. Bruce received the prestigious Gold Peace Award in honor of his scientific contribution to world harmony.
Hi, dear friends. I really want to thank all of you for joining this Unity from Jerusalem program, a very special program organized by our dear friend Sippy, who did a heroic effort to get us all here. Sippy asked a question: can we truly awaken humanity's heart to compassion and love? Well, let me give you a very important part about human development. Babies are born with love, but they learn to be violent. So it's something that we're creating on this planet. I go, when does this occur? I say within the first couple of years of a child's life is going to have a setting in response to stress. Now, stress could be simple, just an irritation, or stress can be life-threatening. So there's a whole range of stress. And what I would like to say is consider that stress as a thermometer where the mercury rises up. When the mercury is down low, that's an irritation, but it's not violence. But as the stress levels build and build and build, the stress can then break through like the thermometer exploding in a case of violence. So I say there's a setting on the stress level. And I go, what do you mean? I said, well, you can have a setting that will turn the stress off before the stress level gets high. So it starts to get stressed and the system will shut itself off. Or you could put the setting up real high. So it takes a lot of stress to get up to this point. But when it gets to this point, it's at the verge of being violent. Where can you shut off the stress? Why? Because that can tell you how you can deal with violence in the world. If we can set the setting low, a child will not get into violence because the stress hormones will be shut off once they start to rise. But if a child is not given love, not giving a holding, somatosensory affection is referred to, body holding love. If a child is not held physically and loved, then there's a feedback that it's not safe. And when it's not safe, then the stress hormones become more important because they're going to determine whether it's going to survive or not. The less safe it feels, the higher the setting of the stress hormones because it's saying the stress is going to push me and the setting is real high. And that leads to violence. If a child is loved, and that's somatosensory affection, that's holding and loving the child, giving it a sense of security and safety in the world, the setting on the stress level is low. So that child, as the stress level rises in their life, they shut it back off and there's no violence involved. So the difference is we are manifesting a violent response in children by not giving them enough security, enough physical holding when they are young. The tendency is not to hold on to them. Populations that hold on to the children and love them, and many populations a long time ago would even let their children touch the ground for a year. What's the point? The more loving they got as a child, the lower the stress setting was to shut it off. It just came up, shut it off. The less secure the child is, the higher the stress setting is. And that means that that child is going to be affected by stress to the extent that it may rise up to that level. And if it does so, the child becomes violence. Violence was not built in the system. Violence is a mechanism to survive. If you feel the world is not safe, then we have a high setting on our stress level, which says, if you push me too hard, I'm going to fight back. If you grew up in a world of safety, the stress level is low. And as stress hormones rise in your life, you'll shut them off before they have any negative effect. The issue, can we awaken the heart to love? Children are born with a heart to love, but they then become victims of not being safe, not being secure. And that victimization leads to a level of stress that could actually go into violence. Violence was not something we were born with. Violence was something we learned to adapt with. Give the child love, hold them, treat them with safety and security, and there'll be no violence anymore. And that is the lesson. Let's start with the children because they are our future.
במהלך 35 שנה האחרונות טרונד אהרונסון יצר, פיתח, חקר ולימד ותרגל את היכולת לחוש ולפרש פיזית את האנרגיה הביו-אלקטרומגנטית בשדה. הוא קרא למערכת הזאת מוקסיטה.
وبعد بضع سنوات طور الجانب العلاجي وبدأ في ممارسة هذا النظام وتدريسه.
Over the past 35 years, Trond Aaronson created, developed, researched, taught, and practiced the ability to physically feel and interpret the bioelectromagnetic energy in the field. He names his system the Moksite. It began as a type of martial art, and a few years later, he developed the healing side and began practicing and teaching it.
It's called conscious electrosensitivity, the ability to physically feel what you call energy, chi, ki, prana. Actually, radiation exists in all of us. All living things are electrosensitive. And it's probably the oldest language that we know. The ability to communicate between each other, species, doesn't really matter. And the fantastic thing about it is that we were all born with it. It is a language. And who did we speak to? Well, that's the language our mother spoke to us until we learned words. We could feel the field, and we forgot. Today, the knowledge has come a long way, and conscious electrosensitivity is a highly efficient tool, and it can be applied to virtually anything, because we all have the ability to physically feel, translate, understand, transmit, and receive energy. Bioelectromagnetic waves is the basic principle of energy equals frequency equals vibrations. It's the ripples in the field. That's how we spoke. That is the oldest language. You see, the problem starts with the little thing that we humans, we lie. And we even know how to lie to ourselves. The human body don't know how to lie. Never lies. Pain is not a horrible thing. It's a language. And it exists in all of us. And it's only our cultures that have removed us from our own senses. Once upon a time, we all knew how to do this. And you believe me, you're fantastic people. You haven't got an idea what a fantastic gift you were given at birth, which is instinctual, physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. Of course, you can heal yourself, but it's not through your dreams or things like that. It is a physical sensation. And the simplest example, if you're sitting on the road, there's a lot of traffic, and you know that the guy in front of you is going to change lanes without indicating, and he suddenly does. Well, you knew. What did he do? Send you a Gmail? No, of course not. It was intent. He looked in the mirror and sent you the message. You knew what he was going to do. You're in a public place. You turn around and you look straight into the eyes of somebody looking at you. It's all the same thing, really. It's just a matter of feeling it. And it is a physical feeling. My own level of physical sensitivity today has become quite ridiculous. You know, I can literally feel the wings of a bird that flies by. Can all do it. We've been educated from we learn to speak how the world is. The real story is the knowledge from within. And the knowledge from within don't lie. A 5-year-old child can feel energy, let's call it that, within 60 seconds. Most children can feel it within 2 to 3 minutes. Grown-ups, as usual, it takes a little bit longer. They have fantastic abilities. One child has been taught, he has a brain cancer, has been taught how to heal himself. It can all be demonstrated, it can all be measured, it can all be proven. And I think it is the most exciting part of all this huge puzzle that they put together. And oh boy, I really hope that in the near future, more and more people will join us and start really understanding what is our real potential. Not what they told us, not what I believe, not what I think. Thou shalt not think or believe, thou shalt know. And when we know, we start using it as practical tools in our everyday reality. I have about 35 years of clinical practice, and it can be relearned by everyone. We've just forgotten. Just forgotten. Love you all.
Thank you so much, Trond and Bruce, for your inspiration. Miriam Toukan is an Arab singer and songwriter, lawyer, and activist for peace and human rights. Originally from Kfar Iblin, Israel, and today lives with her partner in Spain. She recorded Michael Jackson's song, Heal the World, especially for our event.
مريم توقان مغنية وكاتبة أغاني عربية من قرية عبلين في إسرائيل، محامية وناشطة في مجال السلام وحقوق الإنسان.
היא הקליטה במיוחד עבור האירוע את השיר לרפא את העולם של מייקל ג'קסון, והיא תבצע אותו עם צוות הנגנים שלה, מילים בערבית ובעברית. מרים תוקן, קבלו את מרים.
think about the generations. We want to make it a better place for our children and our children's children, so that they know it's a better world for them and think that they can make it a better place. Here I am. Do you see me? Hear me? Do you think about me? What future are you planning for me? What world? Let me live and you'll see I'll make the world a better place for you and for me.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place, it was brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you'll feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. تعالوا نبني هالعالم من جديد، عشانك وعشاني وعشان كل قلب حزين. في ناس عم يموتوا إذا بيهمك نعيش. هات إيدك بإيد نغير هالمصير. If you want to know why, there's a love that cannot lie. Love is strong, it only cares of joyful giving. If we try, we shall see. In this bliss we cannot feel fear of dread. We stop existing and start living. Then it feels that always love's enough for us, growing. Make a better world, so make a better world. בוא נרפא את העולם בשביל כל אדם וכל לב שנדם. אנשים מתים הם חשובים לך החיים. בוא תן לי יד נבנה עולם מחדש. And the dream we were conceived in would reveal a joyful face. And the world we once believed in will shine again in grace. Then why do we keep strangling life on this earth's crucified soul? Though it's plain to see this world is heavenly, be God's glow. We could fly so high, let our spirits never die. In my heart I feel you are all my brothers. Create a world with no fear. Together we cry happy tears. See the nation turn their sports into plowshares. We could really get there if you cared enough for the living. Make a little space.
מדהימה. לרפא את העולם זה התחום שבו עסוקים ג'ון סטוארט ריד וקרישנה מדאפה. ג'ון סטוארט ריד הוא מדען אקוסטיקה פיזיקה בתחום החקר הסאונד הנראה. ההמצאה שלו מאפשרת לראות צליל. זו המצאה ששינתה את תפיסת הצליל לנצח. אנחנו יכולים להבין את עולם הצלילים בכל מקום בעולם שלנו באופן עמוק יותר ושלם יותר.
نتيجة لإبحاثه من الممكن التمييز بين الأصوات الصادرة عن الخلايا السليمة وتلك الصادرة عن الخلايا السرطانية. نشرت أبحاثه في مقالات وكتاب طبي جديد عن التأثيرات العلاجية للطب الصوتي والموسيقى.
John Stuart Reid is an acoustic physics scientist in the field of visible sound. His CIMAscope invention, the option to see sounds, has changed our perception of sound forever. His research is helping to elevate this important new field in the scientific arena, including differentiating between the sounds emitted by healthy cells and by cancer cells. His research has published in articles and a new medical book on the healing effects of sounds and music.
Hello, I'm John Stuart Reid. Can we awaken humanity's heart to compassion and love and leave hatred behind? I believe the answer is a resounding yes. In my opinion, hatred between nations stems primarily from the divisive nature of religions. Those of you who follow a particular religious doctrine will perhaps not like my answer, but in the world today, I see a shift away from religious dogma to a new spiritual awakening, and I've no doubt that that shift will continue, thanks in large part due to the internet. And with that new spiritual awakening, I predict will come a worldwide peace. Beatrix Potter, the famous children's author and creator of the Peter Rabbit character, said this: "All outward forms of religion are almost useless and are the cause of endless strife. Believe there is a greater power silently working all things for good. Behave yourself and never mind the rest." Beatrix Potter's words echo powerfully in my own mind and heart, and I only wish that her life and mine could have permitted a conversation, but sadly she died a few years before I was even born. Continuing the theme of the internet, Elon Musk and his SpaceX company are building a new internet, one that will allow free speech, just as he has achieved by acquiring Twitter, now renamed X. And this too will help raise the consciousness of people in all countries, to remove the remaining barriers to open communication between nations, thereby helping to engender peace. In a moment, I'd like to share with you a poem that I wrote about Mother Earth, an imagined conversation with her. But before I read the poem, as a child, I used to dream about going into space and to look back at the world as it slowly turned beneath me. Now, a lifetime later, although my dream didn't come true, I often read about astronauts and their experiences, which are often of a spiritual nature. The effect of viewing the Earth from space has been dubbed the overview effect, and numerous astronauts and cosmonauts have described the experience as like seeing a tiny, fragile ball of life hanging in the void, shielded and nourished by a paper-thin atmosphere. They also talk about seeing no boundaries between nations and, of course, the fact that its people and its creatures are entirely invisible from the International Space Station. We are, in fact, one people, one human race, living within the one field, and even people who harbor darkness and hatred in their hearts are also capable of light and love, which is innate within all human beings. And even though humans have unwittingly caused damage to this beautiful planet, I believe that in time, all that damage will be reversed as we raise our consciousness to a level at which we not only love each other and turn darkness into light, but we love our jewel in the cosmos and wish to create heaven on earth. Here then is my poem, The Green Goddess. Our mother, she now speaks to me. Green goddess, there she lies. In landscape that doth feed the soul, softly now she sighs. My eyes are sparkling drops of dew, my voice the breeze that sighs, my breasts these soft and verdant hills, my dreams the clouds on high. My bounty is the air you breathe, my milk the sweetest rain. My arms of earth are open, child, my fire yours to tame. Come lie a while, O wandering soul, and shelter next to me, while I tell of my great love for all humanity. In Sairism sigh she spoke, and I did then reply, your children daily wound you, and yet you do not cry. Each day we take your very blood, and in the skies above, we even blight the air we breathe, and yet you speak of love. The green goddess replies, would you child a babe in arms, an infant would you scold? Love them, and one day they will repay 1,000-fold. Bye-bye.
بعد 3 عقود من الأبحاث العالمية الدقيقة في مجال المياه ومع التركيز على إحياء إمكانات المياه الصالح للتربة والخلايا أسس كريشنا مدبا شركة جيفا ووتر.
קרישנה משתמש באלקטרופוטניקה מתקדמת כדי לחקור את התנהגות המים בעולם. הוא יועץ הוליסטי וחוקר תודעה משלב את מדעי הכתבים ההודיים העתיקים בחיי היום-יום.
After 3 years of decades of profound global water research with a focus on reviving water's potential to benefit soils and cells, Krishna Madappa founded Jiva Water in Bangalore, India. Krishna uses advanced electrophotonics to explore global water behavior. He is a holistic consultant and consciousness researcher. As a recognized speaker, he integrates Vedic science into daily life.
Namaste, Shalom,
Namaste.
Salam, Amen to all brothers and sisters across this beautiful planet. And in deep appreciation and love to Sippy, the insights, the great inspirations, and to all of her community and to all of you around the world. There is one clear answer. Yes, can we awaken the heart of perfect wisdom? And that is a given. That is an affirmative direction. But here is where we have gone astray. When all our learning and education has traded wisdom for knowledge. At that inflection point is where we are today, and hence we have to conduct experiments at a global level to appreciate that we live in a field that is so interconnected, which means all of us are so interconnected that every thought that we think ripples across. So higher the vibration of our thoughts, higher is the engagement and interaction, which is what our science clearly shares with us. However, there are some basic steps. We know the problems. We must also drive solutions because we are solution driven. And I will share some simple exercises, but coming with that is a wisdom transmission from the Upanishads. And that says, there is a light that shines brighter than all the earth, than all the stars and all the heavens. And that is the light that shines in the diamond that resides in the lotus of the heart. That is within each and every one of us, has always been and will always continue to be. How do we ennoble this to shine? Just like it takes millions of tons of coal to give a little diamond. So similarly, the nature of our thoughts refines that space. So closer we are to nature, the closer we are to source. And that is where our engagement begins. We have knowledge, plenty of. Wisdom is what we now cultivate. To cultivate knowledge and wisdom together will create a supramental being. And that supramental being will see the ignorance of mind, will see the ignorance of matter, will see the ignorance of life, to transform it, to create a brilliant life here. So here's a simple exercise for all of us in continuum, because this is the way I was shared and imprinted by my beloved mother. She said, we will all get angry at some point in time. We will have emotions that will create a lot of angst inside of us. To other people, maybe sometimes maybe very, very close to you, that you have trusted. Now, when that anger rises, imagine this. You see every other person where you are driving that anger and it's stewing inside of you. They were all once upon a time children. If you visualize everyone as children, immediately that anger dissipates. These are exercises that we collectively have to work upon. There are no quick solutions. We are the solution. Namaste.
Amen.
To all.
Namaste. Thank
Love
you very
all.
much.
Aho.
Hi again, guys. It's great to be here. We're just a few words before we play. The song is coming out in a month, and I'm super honored and grateful to play with you. And it talks about growing up in the Galilee. It's called Olive Trees. Olive trees, the Galilee, just left them all behind. Travel far to foreign lands, no prophets in their towns. Honestly, I'd rather be away from all this now. Though I hope one day to see a future lost get found. איך אני שומע מזה עוד, כבר יודע לא לישון. If everybody's right, who's wrong? I guess I'll just keep writing songs. Songs about whatever makes more sense. Oh, איך אני שומע מזה כבר יודע לא לישון, לא לישון. hope one day for peace to be around the river and the sea. אני שומע מזה עוד, כבר יודע לא לישון, לא לישון, לא לישון. תודה רבה. תודה לנאדר בוטוס.
האורח הבא שלנו, דוקטור טוד, הוא מוביל עולמי בביופיזיקה רפואית. שיטת תאי גזע המופעלים בלייזר ומצעירים את האדם ב3 שנים. הוא מייסד שותף של האגודה הבינלאומית לרפואה פסיכוביולוגית המוצאת את השורשים הרגשיים הלא מודעים של מחלה.
وهو أيضا مؤلف ومنتج جوقات لموريانية والتي ترفع مستوى المشاركين والكرة الأرضية.
Dr. Todd is a world leader in medical biophysics. His method using laser-activated stem cells to reverse biological age is groundbreaking. Dr. Todd has also made innovations in agriculture to provide organic, high-nutrient, and high-vibrational food. He is a co-founder of the International Society of Psychobiological Medicine that finds and relieves the unconscious emotional roots of a disease. He is also the composer and producer of Ramorian choirs that elevate vibration in listeners and the planet.
A great pleasure being on with all these wondrous luminaries, as well as this magnificent gathering. There is so much beautiful and pure information here. And I'd like to personally acknowledge all of you. In particular, it was great to see Anders. He and I, about 8 years ago, actually co-conducted a peace choir with over 400 choristers in Tel Aviv. And you might say, well, why didn't that work? And I believe it all makes a difference. And I would speak in the quantum realm, that there is this critical mass, this critical threshold that every loving thought, every compassionate feeling, it all adds to this collective potential. And to the degree that we focus on that, everything we add to it increases the point where we literally break through a threshold and then we see the desired result, the peace on earth. And a few weeks ago, I went to Israel threading the needle in the ceasefire. And it's a beautiful story. And I think one of the things we can do is focus on the love stories, not the horror stories. Every week since June, I've been working with a beautiful family in Haifa who has a baby girl with a severe genetic disease called progeria. It's a disease of extreme accelerated aging, and children only live an average of 12 years, succumbing to the diseases of old age. And I've developed a method that may cure that condition by working with a special type of stem cell and giving her the normal stem cells of her nearly perfectly matched brother. And the names are significant. The baby girl's name is Miel, which is French or Spanish for honey, and as I understand it, Hebrew means of God. Also significant, her 3-year-old brother Imri is a name I understand that means builder of the New Jerusalem. I believe this is an angel child. In the midst of the war, there is this beautiful story of hope and healing. And we did this treatment about 3 weeks ago now. And even the next day, the baby was better. And she's continued to improve. Her disease caused literally a type of skin prison, and she couldn't even turn over. Now the skin is getting much better. She can move, she can turn, she can hold a toy for the first time in her life. And she could be the first person in history to be cured of this otherwise incurable condition and live a normal, if not extended, lifespan. And this method gives hope for thousands of genetic conditions. So in the midst of the conflict, there is this beautiful story, this thickness of love energy that I felt with the family. So I think we can also focus on the love stories, the beautiful stories, the things that we observe where what appears impossible becomes possible. world peace. Does that seem impossible? It may in the moment. And what I would suggest, actually, acknowledging my good friend Gregg Braden in his book, The Isaiah Effect, it's a really simple method, which is see the desired outcome, see the peaceful planet where we live extended lives, experience our full potential, and enjoy immense creativity, enjoy beauty and bliss. And while we see it, give gratitude, give thanks that it is already done. So I'd see it as already done, and it will happen, I believe, a lot faster than you might think. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tom.
פגי פניקס דוברו רואה בנו יצורים אלוהים. היא מזמינה אותנו לאמץ את האמת העמוקה שכמשפחת האנושות אנחנו ייחודים ומאחדים.
بيجي تلهمنا للتعرف على الدافع الإلهي والتعبير عن أنفسنا بشكل حقيقي من خلال ترددات الحب الذي ليس له بداية ولا نهاية.
Peggy Phoenix Dubro sees us as divine beings. She invites us to embrace the profound truth that we are unique and united and as the family of humanity, and that we are all learning to channel more of who we are. She inspires us to acknowledge our divine drive as we authentically express ourselves in the frequencies of love that has no beginning and no end.
All right, I actually wrote this down so I can be very clear. So the question, can we truly awaken humanity's heart? I think we all know we already have awakened humanity's heart. What we have now is to evolve our expression of what it means to merge our love and our wisdom, as in practice what it means to live in the frequency of the love that has no beginning and no end. And we contribute to this heart of humanity to become stronger, to become more supportive throughout the entire field of all life, including ourselves. So in the film, you saw where I talked about my experience of infinite love that had no beginning and no end. I was 22 when that happened. That is who I am. I live in that frequency. It's been part of my being, and that was 50 years ago. And so there's much more I could say, but what I would like to do is for us to speak in the language of energy. Would you like that? Let's hold our hands up and let's, oh, thank you. Oh, I see you. There you are. Being weird and wonderful. That's great. So here we are, touching one another just a bit more than we were a moment ago. I know Trond will approve. I just love what I've heard here today. I love seeing and feeling your energies. So let's take this deep breath. There are energetic postures that we can practice, just like in Tai Chi, just like in yoga. There is work to be done. We are in evolution. So what I would like you to do now is you can place your hands on your heart, and together let us say to one another, within our minds, within our hearts, from the infinite within me to the infinite within you, and in honor of each of our unique beliefs, let us calibrate. Let us vibrate. Let us co-create a stronger frequency of that love that has no beginning and no end. So this is going to go very quick. Focus on your feet and the earth beneath your feet. Take a nice deep breath. There we go. Nice movement, nice foundations. There is an energy exchange, a concentrated energy exchange between your feet and your entire being. Let us honor our physical presence. So we will honor and respect our body presence. Together, you may affirm, I honor and respect my body presence. Take a deep breath, and here you go. I am here. Yes, you are. I am here. Good. Then I'm going to ask you to focus on the top of your head, your crown center, and the connection with your the universal field, the field of all life. There's concentrated points within our being, Even though the energy is present in every cell of our body, every layer of our DNA, every light fiber of our being, we have very specific centers. We can become even stronger. And here I would ask you to sense, feel, and contemplate the energies that are inspiring, offers insights, brings about new knowledge. So if you would, this is soul presence. So honor and respect your soul presence. And together, we're in this together, let us affirm, I remember, I am. I remember, I am. And then the last part, let us affirm together, I know, I am. So, center beneath your feet, honor body presence, I am here. Crown, center above, I remember I am, as I naturally channel more of my soul presence, and then radiating through your core energy, I choose to live in the strength of my spirit of infinite love. I know I am, and let me leave you with this. This love is alive, it's electrical, and it's transformative. And you and I, it's time for an evolution. We've had enough revolutions. I look for the heart of the evolutionary. Are you in? Yes. Let us do this. Loving us greatly.
Robert, we're with you.
Hi. Hi, everybody. That was beautiful, Peggy. I miss you. You know, working on this film, I learned a lot about that it's all about love. That's what the movie's about. That's the core energy for me when I was composing the music for it. Dr. Marcel Vogel, who was a famous scientist, was always saying, love is the glue that holds the universe together. Now, that's beautiful, but how do we get to experience this love? I feel that it is gratitude. Gratitude, you have to feel that within and express it. And then you start feeling and understanding what love is. And you step into the inner peace. You step into happiness. And we have come here to actually express our, what some people would call our soul level or our higher self, what I call our sacred selves. We came here to express who we really are, and that is pure love. That is definitely pure love. And through all this, we open up and experience this oneness with who we are, who we really are, and also the oneness with everything that is, absolutely everything. In the movie, there was one piece of music that I had already written before I scored the movie, and I felt at one point, we have to put this in here. So it's ending up being the music for various places in the movie, and it's a song called Be You, Be Love. And this was written by my partner Lily Wong and I. The words on this, it's Be You, Be Love, and Be You, Be Me. So the other person is asking you to step into their shoes and be them. And that's when you actually understand and feel that love and this oneness with one person, with another person, with everyone. So I'm going to end with actually playing the track from the movie. This is the last piece as the credits are starting to come on. Be You, Be Love, performed by actually my daughter-in-law, Audrey Cote. Beautiful voice. Thank you. I love you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Robert. It's beautiful. 17 speakers in this film, and we brought most of them this evening. The film is about the connection between everything that seems separate. Among other things, also between spirituality and science. Lee Carroll, whose spiritual saying we try to test using scientific tools, has prepared for us a special channeling.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Cryon of Magnetic Service. We come to you at this moment telling you that this is the fruition, the pinnacle of everything that we have taught so far about what humans can do for humans. For 33 years, we have told you that the human being is far grander and more powerful than you've ever been told. It doesn't matter what your organization says that is spiritual, or what perhaps church you might belong to, or belief system that you embrace. Whatever that is, I am here to tell you that you are bigger than anything they've ever told you. And because of this, you also can affect all that is. We told you so long ago, you are in control of your own body, your own healing, and that piece of divinity in you has an engine of consciousness that produces energy. Who told you that? What scientist told you that? As you were growing up, was that what you were given in school? And the answer is no. But now it starts to become obvious. Anointed group of people they are, who have given of their resources, their time, their ideas, their intuition, to ask the question, can you prove it? Can you prove it? Is it possible that human consciousness is measurable? Is it possible that it can change the physics around you? Can it change or lay a road for others to walk on where their lives might be better because you changed the road? What a concept! And the answer is yes. How long has it taken for humanity to decide that this perhaps was valid? And the answer has been eons. And here you are when you need it, understanding the power of peace that you have. Beautiful it is to think that a group of humans can affect others in a most benevolent, peaceful way, not a controlling way. Again, I paint the picture. What if, through your efforts, you could create a future because you're paving the road in front of those who don't even know about this, so that when they get to the road, it'll be smoother. Do you understand what I'm saying? The old souls, the light workers, those who are invested in all of this, understand that putting a benevolent road, a visualization of peaceful solution in front of those who are in trouble or anger can change all that is coming. I have taught this because it's real. Beyond that, I invite everyone listening to think of something that I'm going to call the two-history solution. I'm about to give a solution for what you see in front of you. The two-history solution. The first history is this. It's the old history. It's the ugly history. It's the one that has been filled with conflicts and misunderstandings and anger and fear, war. That history. That's the history that has been taught in your schools to your children on any side of conflict. Who did what to whom? Who's wrong? What do you do about it? How can you get it right? How can you get even? That is the old history. I ask you, are you ready for something radical? It's called the new history, where you tell your children this is the way it was, and the new history is this is how it can be. That every single child is aware of the old history and then is aware of the solution. This is the new history. Hope, an idea of living together in peace instead of who did what to whom and what you're going to do about it. That's the old history. The two history solution is where you get together and you say, what is it we can do now to ensure hope from now on? Not for a little while, not for another generation either, but from now on. That is in the cards, as we say. That is potential. It's possible. And it's possible just with those listening. It's got to start somewhere. Someone in some school should start to get the idea, maybe, just maybe, we ought to teach hope. And would it work? And for those who would shake their heads and say, well, it never did before, I'll tell you something. That's before it was proven and shown that it will work. All you doubters, take a look at the experiments. All you doubters, take a look at the beauty of what it showed. We can make a difference. You can make a difference. Humanity is in control of itself. What do you think of that? The two history solution. What do you tell your kids? What's your instructions for them to tell their kids from now on? How should it be taught? Dear ones, you are in total control of what happens next. Total control. You are sitting at a crux of light and dark energy on this planet that I told you would occur, and here it is. I told you the dark would try to draw you backwards, and it has. Shock and disbelief of some of you that it's actually here, and I told you it was coming. It is no accident that the experiments were before this time now showing the validity of consciousness over physics and the fact that you could shape your future. You can do it. It's time for hope for humanity. Not a pause in the fighting, dear ones. A hope for all those who want schools for their children and peace in their land, no matter who they are or where they are. That's your birthright as humans, to live together in peace. And suddenly, you can. Suddenly you have the tools to begin it. Think about what you're going to teach before you tell anybody what's happened, anywhere. No matter what war you're talking about, no matter what conflict is there. This goes for so many things on the earth right now. The two history solution, what was and what can be. Dear ones, this is the turning point. Dear ones, you're looking at what might be the final battles on the planet, because the earth is starting to look at all of it and be disgusted for the first time, instead of joining it all and participating in it all and taking sides. In other words, most of this planet wants hope, just like you do. Most of this planet wants peace for their kids from now on. And work on solutions of water and food, disease, and the things that you should be working on right now. I would not tell you this if I did not see it in the future. I see benevolence and hope for the future of this planet. And I told you this was coming, and this is why. Because you're here now. Believe it or not, the light is winning. So, warrior of the light, go do your work. I am crying in love with you all. And so it is.
אני רוצה להגיד לכם שזה לא סתם האירוע שלנו היום. היום אנחנו חוגגים את היציאה של הסרט השדה האחד חינם לכל העולם, לכל מקום בעולם. תמחאו לזה כפיים, זה קורה היום. ולכן אומר לכם, תשתפו את הלינק, אם יהיה כאן לינקים בסוף הערב, תשתפו, תפיצו אותו כמה שיותר. חיכינו ליום הזה שהסרט הזה יהיה בחינם.
اليوم بنحتفل بإطلاق الفيلم الحقل الواحد للعالم ومجانا، فرجاء شاركوا كل الروابط مع قديش عدد أكبر من الناس عشان هذا الفيلم يوصل لكل العالم.
A non-profit organization that was founded 26 years ago, and they asked us to read the following statement. When the chairman of our board saw the documentary for the first time, he immediately knew that this film represented the knowledge of unity of all people. In all things, and as many people as possible should have this information. He asked our organization to purchase the right to distribute this documentary so that it would be free for the world to see. The organization was founded to help promote world peace by providing information that can unite the world, and this film was a great fit for our goal. We are happy we can let everyone watch this film, and we want to go on making more projects for the same purpose. And this can be achieved by your donations of the film supporters and would help us sponsor more educational and documentary content like the one filmed. And we want to thank all our supporters as well as Tzipi Raz. And we invite you, yes, she deserved that. And we invite you to share the movie with all people dear to you and donate what you can via our website so we can continue producing more wonderful movies like the one filmed. And in the meantime, we invite Hila Ben David to sing the closing song. Hila Ben David, yes. The prayer singers performs in Israel and all over the world, creates healing frequencies with high and penetrating vibration in her voice. She works to raise the collective frequency of humanity and bring about a new world through music. There's love, Hila Ben David.
The end of tears and blood and eagles cry. together with the same old love. Let's make a love. There is no difference between us now. There is a way, but we've never known how. Let's hold each other and call it out loud. There's a love, there's a love. There is no difference between us now. There is a way, but we failed somehow. Let's hold each other and call it out loud. There's a love, there's a love. There ain't no mountains here between us now. There ain't no promises or blames or vows. There's no more fear now, embrace the sound. Just call it love, just call it love. There ain't no water left to pull us down. The end of tears and blood and eagles' crowns. Let's move together with the same old now. Love, let's make a There is no difference between us now. There is a way we've never known how. Let's hold each other and call it out loud. There's love, there's a love. There ain't no mountains here between us now. There is a way, but we failed somehow. Let's hold each other and call it out loud. There's a love, there's a love. There ain't no mountains here between us now. There ain't no promises or blames or vows. There's no more fear now, embrace the sound. Just call it love, just call it love. There ain't no water left to pull us down. The end of tears and blood and eagles' crowns. Let's move together with the same old now. Love, let's make a love. Who would have believed that humans in the 21st century would still choose to live separately from each other, separate from the earth that holds them, separate from nature that provides for them. After hundreds and thousands of years, they are yet to conquer their fears. They all are yet to be reminded of the biggest secret of all, which they seem to have forgotten, the secret of who they are. Humankind can live together in harmony when humanity learns to accept that we are all seeds of the same source, and that the only way to live a happy, healthy, and prosperous life is true, pure, and unconditional love.
Amen. We're finishing. Thank you. Okay, thank you, the participant of the movie, The One Field, the musicians who took part in this evening, the audience here with us in Jerusalem. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for the viewers around the world. Thank you, Itamar, and the entire staff member who made this broadcast possible. Thank you, Yanir and Chagit Shavit, for sponsoring this evening. Thank you, the entire One Field team, the rad artists, Thank you, Tzipi Raz, the movie director and creator who made all this happen. Thank you, Michal. Thank you, Rim. Thank you for this beautiful, wonderful evening. And the film is free for everyone to watch. At the end of the roller, you'll find links to watch the movie for free, to donate for the fundraising, and for the rod art that we saw so beautifully this evening. Thank you all. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for changing the heart of humanity, bringing love and peace to this world. Thank you.